Should be online now.
Too bad we can't get the Prime Primer because I spent all our money.
You know, it's a darn shame.
Come on.
It's a crime.
Come on.
Bro, I am trying to do a thing. You're the one who wants to.
Alright. Alright, now we gotta go this way now. Look, if you just come in the room, I'll just kill everything.
Alright, fine.
And then you can finish being a miscreant.
Oh, crud. You can charge with this thing?
That's whack.
Alright, let's see. I don't know why it's not acknowledging. Yeah, I don't know why it's not acknowledging the chat. Because it's like our chat should be available to us, so I don't know why. Let's see here. Okay, apparently I have to log in order for us to actually see the chat.
We need to go this way.
Alright, hang on. Hang on.
Yeah, I'll just.
Gosh.
Yo, wiggity whack.
Alright, pass it back.
Can you really handle? Golden Junk has joined the shootout, by the way.
It's always join the shootout! Oh.
Don't worry, everything. Oh, no, never mind. Now everything is dead. I can one-shot everything now. I'm just that dude. I saved your life. What's a lead made in when you have a two, oh, wow, wow. Now it's level 1 again.
Yay! Oh, well, never mind. Anyways.
Triggered.
Let's see here. Oh, well, Glob, I think I know the issue of why we can't see the chat.
Why?
Because I had to pull it, means I had to pull it up here. Or at least, like, I had to authorize it. I haven't finished authorizing it.
Authorize what?
Don't worry about it.
We can do whatever we please, by the way.
But what am I looking at?
Oh, sorry, this is yours.
It's a barrel gun that shoots barrels.
Aren't you happy?
There we go. Okay.
Are you happy about what you received today?
Okay, so if I
you
do
satisfied? Do you feel you've received adequate care?
this... Okay, there we go.
Do you feel you have received adequate care? You like how I'm one-shotting everything, those things.
I mean, I'm trying to focus on something else, so I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Bite me.
So anyways, for anyone who's curious at this point of our lives, JR and I, or, yeah, JR in general is just playing a game, and I'm trying to work everything out.
Oh, is it started? You didn't tell me that.
We only had a single minute. We only had a single minute, and I tried to tell you, but you just didn't want to listen.
I knew it. This is mine.
You just didn't want to listen.
Listen, I don't have to listen to the likes of you. This is mine too. This is yours. You can have it. Oh no, this is mine. Give it back. You can take the friendship cookie. Up. The up button. The up button. just lost all my items.
Well, now with
No,
that
you
in
can
mind,
pick them up. You can pick them up. Look, you can pick them up. There you go. Now you just have to decide between the friendship cookie. Oh no, you can do it. You can do it. You got it.
all right, I'm bringing it back.
You can't bring it. Oh, okay. Wow. That was it.
Oh, wait, what about your bag? Anyways, but yes, here we are with the. Okay, I don't know what our thing's doing.
Oh.
Pretty sure our thing was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of things.
Rockets. It launches rockets.
It's launching everything.
Hello and welcome to the NGP broadcast.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was established like several minutes ago, and we just refused to acknowledge it, which we gratefully apologize. I mean, as professionals, it's kind of unprofessional for us to do a podcast and not focus on said podcast.
Yeah, it's very unprofessional of you, Dion. I'm very disappointed. I expect better.
Anyways. Alright, well, with that in mind, everybody. Ow, my face. With that in mind, everybody, we still do have, actually, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna talk into the microphone. But yes, this is our first podcast. It's gonna be sort of awkward since JR decided that we would try to play a game.
Awkward. It's not awkward.
That we would try to play a game, even though this is by no means a Twitch streaming. Because it makes no logical sense.
So let's talk about this thing with these Borderlands people. What's up with that, Dizzle?
Borderlands? Are you talking about Borderlands 3?
No, I'm talking about the people that make the game.
Yeah, Borderlands. I don't know.
You dying.
Freaking means. I think when it comes down to it,
take everything.
Well, there's also Telltale.
That's what I'm talking
games.
about.
Oh, that's what you're talking about?
Yes, you knew it was what I was talking about.
I thought you were talking about something else. Are you talking about the Tales of Borderlands? I got it. Okay.
Telltale. Yeah. I was talking about Telltale.
So
essentially, like what I remember happening is like apparently Telltale like made some poor decisions.
Yeah, it namely has to do with like something about like legal reasons or something like that. I don't know. We can't really say that we know for sure. We would have to do our own research and whatnot. But
what sucks really is that apparently Telltale had some deal with Netflix, and this deal is causing them to have to I guess continue that whatever that was a part of that deal.
Yeah, I think what pretty means. I think the one thing I'm going to miss, because it's like this was definitely a promise that they made months before they got shut down, was the second season of The Wolf Among Us. Probably one of my favorite games out of the Telltale game series, or just all of them, or just out of the company, because it really was one of my favorite games. It was probably my first game that I played from that company, actually, and I really enjoyed it. I played it on my mobile phone, which I'll tell you right now is not really the best decision, because the amount of lag that you get when you play it on a mobile phone is ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. But yeah, that was my first and favorite game from the Telltale games. I also played the Tales of Borderlands and the what was the other one? Oh, the Batman one, which apparently a lot of people were not a fan of the Batman one. I thought in terms of just like an origin story, like how they changed up the Batman origins, like for some people it might have been a bit cliche, but I kind of like what they did with that. They sort of used that as like an element in the Batman Telltale games, and I really like that. Did I think it was a good game overall? Granted, I think the one thing I didn't like, but I feel like for them they were forced to do it, was the action commands. And that's just mainly because it's like, well, it is a Batman game. What's a Batman game without action? And yeah, I think that's the main reason why they added that in there. But man, oh man, can it be frustrating at times, especially when you don't know. Like, if they had a notification letting you know that you were about to enter into an action command, that would have been nice. But, you know, with the action commands, they don't really tell you. You're just supposed to know out of the blue. And kind of makes it frustrating at times. But, yeah, that's just my general history. Can't talk today because of my diction. That's just my general history with Telltale Games. Was a fan of The Wolf Among Us. I played 2 of their other games, and I'm really disappointed we're not going to get that Season 2, because, my golly, if there's any game out of their series, that deserved a second season, it was definitely The Wolf Among Us. And another thing that's sad, too, is that, like, the people who got The Walking Dead, the final season of The Walking Dead, they're not going to get a finale to it now. They only got like 2 episodes, and that's it.
You know what else? They're supposed to do another one for, like, they're working on Telltale for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Were they working on that, actually?
From what I had heard.
Anyways, but yeah. So it's like, again, it's like, even though this is like pretty much old news and whatnot, like, it still is just freaking means. It still just, like, stinks overall, like, how the company went down and whatnot. I mean, again, I know it's because of, like, legal reasons and whatnot. It happens, and, you know, unfortunately, that's how some companies go down and whatnot.
It's sad how companies think that they can do illegal things just to get by, you know?
Yeah.
No, it's not what NGB would do, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yes. I can assure you, to all the fans and whatnot, that's not what we will do.
That's not worrying about that.
Yeah, life. we're not anything about that. Because it's like we may be just a group of guys right now trying to make a company, but it's like we're self-aware to take every legal action and to make sure we know our stuff and read the book. But yeah, it really is a darn shame. I gratefully apologize to everybody, especially some of like the big YouTubers like PewDiePie and all of them. Like I know there was definitely a handful of YouTubers and just players in general who really wanted the finale to the Walking Dead series, but the likely chance of them getting that is very slim. I mean, they did post on their Twitter about several weeks ago that they were going to try and make the that they were going to try and finish the last season of sorts.
Stop dying. Yeah, the last season.
Yeah, or just like the finale of the game and whatnot. They were going to try to make the last 2 episodes, but I haven't heard word from that or checked out their Twitter yet of anything about that. But they did say that they were working with other companies trying to get that, those last 2 episodes out, trying to wrap up the series so that way people can at least have a satisfying ending to the Walking Dead series. Because that was definitely, out of all the games, like, before, because the Walking Dead series was, like, their first game before The Wolf Among Us or even the Tales of Borderlands and all that stuff, which I have played. It's, like, that was definitely just one of their best ones, and it was definitely one that, like, started off their company as a whole. So it's only natural that, like, for even them themselves, I think it's only fair that they tried to finish that, the Walking Dead series, because it really deserves, out of all the games, it really deserves a finale for the company. But yeah, and another thing I like, though, is that, like, other video game companies, just like all of them in general, like, they also reached out to all the people who, Telltale had to let go and whatnot. They reached out to them saying, like, hey, if anybody needs, like, a job position, we're opening, we're hiring, and I like that, because it's like, again, you don't really see that in, like, video game companies sometimes, but it's nice to know that, they were able to reach out and just let everyone know, saying, like, hey, we have job openings, so if any of you guys need another workplace since, you got fired from your last one, we're available, and I like that. You want to add anything onto that real quick, JR, before we switch topics here?
I think you pretty much covered it. Another thing I know we wanted to talk about was, how about that My Hero Academia ending?
Yeah. My Hero Academia, like the ending of Season 3, like, I don't know.
I mean, you know me and Dizzle here, we're working on a little anime, by the way, voice actors needed. And,
Yeah, voice actors needed for anybody who's interested and whatnot.
You know, it's just disappointing. I guess I'm just more aligned disappointed. You know, they could have done better, and it just ended so abruptly. You know?
It really did end like. Here's the thing, like compared to all their other endings, like to their seasons and whatnot, because this is season 3 we're talking about. The way it ended, it really was abrupt, because it's what they did is that they introduced another character who was basically as strong as the strongest heroes and whatnot. Like compared to All Might, this guy was apparently like the 3rd strongest hero, and he was still a student. But the thing is that
ridiculous.
Yeah, which was ridiculous. And then it's like after they introduce him and just showcase like what his power was, like that's it. That's how the season ended, and it's like
they had to make like the character, like I don't know if you've noticed this, but as like season 3, the characters they've introduced, they've been kind of like your basic bland character.
I mean, sort of, but it's like
No,
but it's like,
really.
really?
Like, yeah. It's been super bland to me. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe I'm just being too critical.
I don't know. But it's like, again, I would definitely argue and say that, like, yeah, it did ended abruptly since we got introduced to this character that was apparently super powerful and was almost powerful as All Might, and that's it. That's all we get.
With all my might, I swear that ending could have been better.
It could have, but then again, it's like, well, you know what?
My might.
But it's like, again, it's like, you know what? Like, we're getting a 4th season, so it's like, again, it's like, I know they'll do like more in the future, and it's even coming out with a movie. It's even coming out with a movie too, My Hero Academia.
I just want to say, like, I feel My Hero is at the point where they actually do need to step up, you know? Because you got animes out here like Black Clover. There's a bunch of new ones coming out this fall. You got One Punch Man coming up.
Oh yeah, the second season of One Punch Man, which we've been waiting for like years now, if I may add. I'm sorry, but it's like, again, it's like we've been waiting for that second season for quite a while, so, you know, I'm generally concerned about it, but it's like I have read a little bit like of the manga version of like the second season, because, you know, they were working on the manga of the second season, and I did see a little bit of that, and so I kind of know what's going to happen, but or at least like I know like what's going to happen in some areas of the second season. But it's like, again, it's like for the most part I'm really excited, because this is definitely an anime that not only myself but literally everybody in the One Punch Man fan base has been waiting for. So it's like, yeah, definitely one we're excited for. We're definitely gonna be, because it's like, again, I've read a little bit of the manga of the second season, and we're definitely gonna be introduced to a lot of characters that will actually benefit the story as a whole, so it'll definitely be interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to it. JR?
I think you about covered it. Like I said, I was trying to say earlier, like, there's a lot of competition out there coming out.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't take this kind of stuff too lightly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many great creative companies out there. I mean, obviously all that means nothing when you're going up against the next generation bros, but that's beside the point. You know,
Preach it, brother, preach it.
you can't start a new storyline at the end of a season and then have this hiatus.
Yeah.
That's, well, how's that like? That's like a One Piece season.
I mean,
2012,
like back
2012.
maybe back earlier, yeah, I would argue. And that's the one thing I know, like, getting off topic a little bit. I mean, we're going to switch topics anyway, but another thing I just noticed that, like, when it comes to One Piece, it's like, if a person really wanted to, because it's like, I feel like, and this might be asking a bunch, but it's like, I've realized that, like, if one person watches, like, what, like 5, maybe 3 episodes of One Piece a day, then they could easily catch up with, like, the series as a whole in, like, less than 2 months, which, for some people, it might be a bit much, but it's like, again, it's just, like, that's just something I realized, because I know that, like, a lot of people make jokes about, like, oh, catch up with One Piece is, like, nearly impossible, and it's like, Yes, but it's like I don't want to diss any like series or anything, but it's like yes, but let's talk about Fate Stay Night just a little bit, just a little bit.
Now, Dizzle, come on now. You know.
Look, I respect the fan base in the series, but it's like I have come to terms and realized that apparently there are so many Fate Stay Night series and spin-offs that it's more difficult to catch up with that than One Piece, I would argue, from what I've seen and from what I've heard.
Human being.
Just because it's like I'm sorry, but it's just that's the reality I've come to realize.
Be gone. Be gone.
Goodness.
Walk away.
And it's like with One Piece, it's like at least to on its part. To be fair, on One Piece, it's like it has like DVDs and like mini movies that like pretty much summarize like each different arc. So there's also that can also help a person like catch up with the anime. So there's also that. But alright, back to another subject. And again, it's like half of these subjects that we're talking about are pretty old. They're like at least a month old, so they're pretty old in terms of just like, yeah, they're just pretty old in terms of oh man, they're pretty old in just terms of news, I guess, but it's like, yeah. One news update. BoJack season 5. Do you want to talk about something else before we dive into that, or?
I have no idea about BoJack.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about.
We could talk about.
What are your Dizzle? As someone that hasn't seen Goblin Slayer, what are your general thoughts on the whole thing?
First off, do you like Berserk? This is a legit question. Do you like Berserk?
Listen, Griffin needed to die. He had one option. Okay, look. I'm not even gonna get into this. You guys can hear me get into how Griffin's an idiot.
He really is. Continue. Anyways, but
and our Next Generation Bros Halloween special. Look out for it on our YouTube.
Which we will strive to finish it, no doubt about it. Anyways, but back on back on subject here. I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, back to Goblin Slayer. Okay, so Goblin Slayer, it's basically like if Berserk had a son, that would be Goblin Slayer, because that's literally what it is. It's just another Berserk, like sort of like showcase of sorts, or just like another Berserk series as a whole. It's like, again, it's like you just take Guts. Yeah, you take Guts, replace them with a Goblin Slayer, and you take the demons from Berserk and you just replace them with goblins, and that's literally Goblin Slayer in a nutshell, basically. What else was I gonna say? And it's like, it's so weird because it's like, apparently, like after the first episode, and I know for sure that this controversy has.
With the controversy, it's got essentially the same amount of controversy as Berserk. I mean, it's just a little bit less focused on because.
No. I apologize. I have to do something here.
Dizzle's always distracted. You guys know how it is.
I'm always distracted.
King JR's over here. I'm gonna carry this on my back for right now.
Tell them about Goblin Slayer for a bit.
Alright, I don't know nothing about Goblin Slayer. All I know is that somebody told me that they don't be slaying a lot of goblins. They don't slay a lot of goblins.
Because it's like by the second episode, they're basically going on a whole genocide and whatnot. But back on par. But it's like, yeah, when the first episode came out, and I'm pretty sure like the conflict behind, just the overall conflict over Goblin Slayer is over. But if it's not, then it's like, yeah, apparently a lot of people have like an issue with it, and it's only because of one particular scene, which we won't talk about because of just
what's the scene?
We can't talk about it. This is a PG channel.
It's a PG-13 channel.
No. Anyways, but yes, Okay, so basically, picture, you know that one disturbing scene from Berserk? That is basically the controversy behind it.
Your controversy.
But it's like again, it's like that's the main issue with it, and it's like again, it's like I do like from a person who's seen both Berserk, the manga, the movies, and all that stuff, and have seen the first 2 episodes of Goblin Slayer. It's like I would definitely argue saying like yes, I think like just the overall criticism that it gets is just kind of ridiculous. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest because it's like. You know, people, like, one of the main arguments people say is that it's too edgy, and it's like, name one anime that tries to be edgy that wasn't good, and, like, name me ones that were good that were edgy. It's like, again, it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, how is that an argument of, like, a show being edgy? Like, how is that an argument? Because it's like, that would be saying that Berserk isn't good because it's edgy. That's literally...
Berserk isn't good because it's messed up. It is sickening.
It's like, again, it's like, I would argue and say, yes, that's sort of ridiculous and whatnot, and, you know, I would agree with a lot of people when I say that, you know, like, if you don't like it, or you don't like what it's, you know, what it's demonstrating, or trying to demonstrate in terms of just, like, showcasing, like, what the world of Goblin Slayer is like, then it's like, again, you do have the choice to, you know, not watch the anime.
Go get my gun.
I'm kind of busy. Anyways, but yes, that's just my overall opinion. I do agree that, you know, people are being a bit over dramatic about it, and I definitely would argue saying that, like, well, if you're not a fan of it all, then it's like, again, you don't have to watch it. Nobody's making you watch it, and it's like, again, another Berserk series, which, you know, if you're a fan of Berserk, then you'll definitely be a fan of Goblin Slayer, because that's definitely really just overall what it's trying to portray, or just, you know, what a lot of people would compare it to, and I would agree. Man, I just feel redundant. Like, throughout this entire stream, I've just felt redundant. Or this podcast of sorts, I've just felt redundant so far. And it's like, I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. Because it's like, I feel like I'm repeating myself constantly.
You are.
Well, excuse me.
You're disgusting.
Yo, I am sorry.
You're not even paying attention. You're playing Into the Gungeon.
You're the one who's playing Into the Gungeons currently.
There's no need to lie, Dion.
Okay. On to BoJack Horseman Season 5. What did I think about it? Or just, like, my overall opinion about it? It felt like watching it felt like watching Season 2 with a dash of Season 3 in there. Which I would probably argue that Season 3 of BoJack Horseman was probably the best one. It was either Season 2 or Season 3 that I would argue.
Do people find that show funny?
What, BoJack Horseman?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it can be funny at times. But it can also be like when it wants to, it can be serious. And that's what I think is great about BoJack Horseman as a whole before I jump into Season 5 more. It's just like, again, it's like that's like the thing about BoJack Horseman is that, like, you know, it was first portrayed as, you know, just a comical, a cartoon of sorts, and it is that, but it's like, again, it's like if it needs to be, it can be serious, because it's like that's just how BoJack Horseman is. It's just like it's a comedic show, and you know it can take many different topics and whatnot very seriously. Rather the topics be about like drugs or just like overall dealing with like trauma and all that stuff, and it's like it can be serious if it needs to be, and I think that's what I really like about the series, and I think that's really what a lot of people like about it as well. It's just, again, it's like it doesn't have to be focusing on solely comedical stuff, and you know, it's like, again, it's like so far it's just a trend in the BoJack Horseman series where it's like it becomes comedical for like the first several episodes, and then once it starts getting closer to the finale, it starts becoming a lot more serious. And yeah, I mean, it's like after 5 seasons that does get kind of old, but at the same time it's like that's also kind of what I like about it. But
we're now reaching our 1 minute warning, so let us talk about some
1 minute warning
till 9 to 8:30.
Alright, I guess we're only doing 30 minutes of our first podcast here.
Our next podcast will generally last an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what we'll strive to do. The only reason we're probably going to stop here early is just namely because we got other stuff to work on. Like currently, as we're doing this podcast, we're still working on the Halloween special, which we won't spoil yet. We're still not going to spoil what it is, but it's just something to bear in mind. Just bear in mind, for sure. But yeah, that's definitely one thing. BoJack Horseman Season 5, which I haven't really talked about it. It's basically against watching Season 2 again, where BoJack is back to, just working on a movie or a show that he's working on, and just everybody's messing around. One thing I would question, because it's like, this is something that happened in, well, I don't know if I should spoil it, but forgive me, I think, like, just a quick spoiler. For anybody who hasn't seen Season 5. Spoiler alert. Okay, so apparently Mr. Peanut Butter and Diana, one of the side characters of the show, like, apparently they get divorced, even though in, like, the last season it seemed like they were okay, like, their marriage as a whole was okay, and it's like, I don't know why they chose to do something kind of abrupt and just decide, oh, well, these two characters are divorced now. And it's like, one would probably argue that it's like, one would probably argue that they realized that it wasn't working out, but it's like, again, they would have to, I feel like they should demonstrate that more in the 4th season, because in the 4th season, it's like, it seemed that way a little bit, but at the same time, it seemed like it was going to last. Like, this was like one marriage that both of them believed that was going to last, and then it's like, you come to Season 5, and it's like, what the heck, they just decided to get divorced, like, why? Like, I feel like again, a lot of people will argue, but I feel like they should have showcased it more. They should have just, like, given us more reason as to why they believed that their marriage wasn't working out, as opposed to just ending it abruptly and just having us, the viewers, decide, just figure that out. I don't know. Oh, but yeah, that's going to be the end of our podcast here, unfortunately.
We're hoping to have, hopefully in the next podcast, or in a few podcasts from now, maybe some celebrities call in.
Yeah, or just like a couple of buddies from our Twitter and everything.
He's in contact with the hottest wrestler on the indie scene.
And our friend from Colossal Con of 2018. We'll definitely try to see if he'll be able to make it to our podcast, and if not, then it's like, well, we'll still give him a shout out because he's a good buddy of ours, and we definitely talked a little bit after the whole, because like what he did is that he did a panel, and we talked a little bit after his panel, and we really just got able to like hook up and stuff, so we'll definitely give him a shout out. But what? Who? Alright, hang on. Where's my phone? I need my phone!
You're going to end the podcast.
I mean, real quick though, I think it's only fair that we end it like this. Alright, well, I think that's going to be our podcast. Thank you all for watching. This has been NGB's first podcast, and...
Goodbye.
Goodbye!